For those who are connecting, good afternoon to everybody, good morning to everybody, or if you're in the same land as me, good evening, everybody. You're all very welcome. So we'll just give everyone a chance to come in, and we're going to do some website reviews today. So I'm deeply honored to be able to share with you my knowledge as a StoryBrand certified guide. So we're going to look at some websites. I'm going to share with you the best practice in website design. I'm going to share with you the StoryBrand formula for a website. And I'm going to look at the websites then to determine a few key things. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for, is there actually a direct call to action for your clients? So what's a direct call to action? A direct call to action is when someone visits your website, or somebody visits a landing page for an offer you have to ensure that the action you want them to take is clearly communicated and stands out on your website or your landing page. The second thing I'm looking for then is a transitional call to action. So this is really key. So the businesses who get out of this recession fastest are those who have built up an email list of past clients or future potential clients. So what I'm trying to see is on your landing page or your website that you've shared, is there an indirect call to action where a potential client who's not yet ready to buy is willing to give you their email address in return for some value that you're giving them? The next piece I'm looking for then is the actual structure of the website. So there's prime real estate on your website linked to what we call the Z or the Z pattern of the eye. So when you look at something on a website, you will start top left of your screen, you'll go all the way across, you'll come down the middle, and you'll come back across. That's also like above the fold too on a newspaper. So if you're a newspaper editor, you will see that where the newspaper is folded in half, the editor gives an awful lot of time to determine what's the key message there above the fold and the picture that's going to resonate with you so that you buy the newspaper and read the rest of it. And the same applies to the website. There's above the fold on the website. The next thing I'm going to be looking for then is I'm going to be looking for is all the information in one location? So most people now, where's my mobile gone? Most people now, they're doing their research on that. Sorry, it doesn't show out behind my virtual background. So they're doing their research on this. So it's much harder to navigate a website where I have to click on various buttons to find the information I'm looking for than it is to scroll, because we're used to scrolling now. Even on our Facebook feed, we're scrolling, right? And so the same applies to your website. So I'm looking that all the key information is on the website. The key aim of the website is to get the client to know you, like you, and trust you. So they're the key three objectives I'm seeing is, do I get to know you? Do I get to like you? And are you building trust with me? Because this is part of the journey. So a lot of people who visit your website, they're at what we call the consideration stage of the buying process. So they're in research mode. They're trying to figure out, are you a good fit for them? And then this comes to the other StoryBrand principle of who's the hero. So I'm looking to see, is your client the hero and you're the guide? So an example of that is quite often I visit a website and it's, we are XYZ photography in business for 56 years and we're an award-winning top photographer. No one cares. No one cares about you in the same way as when somebody visits my website, no one cares about me. All they want to know is, what is in it for them? What can you do for them? So what's the problem you solve? How do you solve it? And what's the transformation for your client when they engage with your service? So that's what we're trying to figure out. Okay, so I think it's time to deep dive into some of the websites and have a look, because as we go through the websites, various things will come about as, you know, this is what's key to address on this website, and this is the order of what I would address them. I don't think we've anybody joined us for a second time, because we have had people on these who may change to their website, so it's great to see the before and after. But if you want to see some of that, you'll see all the recordings in the group. You will see, I think there was one last week where Paul Heinmarsh, we had a look at his website a couple of weeks ago versus what he's now done with it and the changes he's made and the connection that he's making with his client as a result of that. Okay, so let me share my screen. Desktop 1, share, and let me just call this up, and let me go to there. Okay, so hopefully you can see Sarah Tate's website now. Hopefully Sarah is with us. Let me just open my, I just want to open my chat as well in case anyone is popping in some questions there as we go through this. Let me just move that out of my way. Okay. So let's go through Sarah's website. So the first thing that I'm looking at when I go to Sarah's website is I'm scanning this Z or Z pattern, depending where you are in the world, to see what do I see. So what I see is Sarah's logo. And this is a really important point. So if your logo does not say what you do, it's important to put that in there. So Sarah does. She says she's a photographic artist. So I know that there's a photography service here. When I scan across, this is called prime real estate. StoryBrand teaches us that we should keep this clear of as much as we possibly can so that we're not interrupting this main call to action, which is book your session. So we can see here that Sarah has highlighted that. So I love that. And that's the direct call to action. What Sarah wants anyone to do when they visit her website is to book your session. So that's excellent. So the imagery, Sarah's an amazing award-winning photographer. I know her well. So what's missing here is, do you remember we talked about who the hero is? So here, Sarah's leading with multi-international award-winning studio. That can come, it's just too early in your client journey on your website. So what I want to see here is, I want to see something around what's the problem you solve, how do you solve it, and what's the transformation for your client by interacting with your service. So if you can answer those 3 questions, that will inform what goes here in the text on the page, because you're looking for that connection. This can come later. So this can come down when you're sort of building some empathy and you're building some authority. So being a multi-international award-winning studio is building authority, but it's too early in the client journey. It has to be about the client at this stage of the scroll. Okay. And so I like that. This shows me, if I visit a site and this is not on it, what does it say to me? It says to me that this photographer isn't up to date. They're not even communicating in what's going on now. So the fact that Sarah has put that in, it shows that she's in business, she's up to date, and she cares about me as the client. So this is sending a signal to me that Sarah really cares about her clients, because she's keeping me up to date with where her business is with regards to coronavirus. So that's really good thing to see. So here's then some more authority, which is saying I'm an award-winning MPA photographer and I've won these various awards. But again, it's too early. I want to see that down a bit further. So this is another thing I see. So Sarah does multiple types of photography. So this is a really important point. Yes, it's important to have this on my homepage, that if I'm doing this multi things, but you're never going to drive traffic to this page as a result of that. So why is that the case? Well, what I want to do in the page that I land on that you direct your traffic to, it has to relate back to the advert or the email or wherever is driving that traffic and that message. So for example, if I'm doing advertising to promote newborn, you want to bring them directly to the newborn page. So we don't have as many websites as we normally have. So I'm going to click through on one of these just to see, is this page then talking about newborn, and is the messaging all around newborns? Let's just click on it just to see. Okay, I'm just waiting for this to load. Okay, so here we are. So again, the direct call to action is book your session, maternity and newborn baby art. We had our shoot last week for our daughter of 5 weeks. I could not have felt more comfortable. I was able to feed and change her without any pressure and time. So this is Hannah giving a testimonial. Again, it's too early in the process. So Sarah, what I'd like to see is some language in here that deals with the problem, what the solution is, and what the transformation is. So here might be the problem. You have just 14 days to capture an image of your bundle of joy before their features change forever. I provide a safe working environment to make sure we capture your newborn bundle of joy at their best. Imagine enjoying images of your newborn for the days, weeks, months, and decades to come. Do you see the difference there? So, and I haven't properly scripted that out yet, but I'm just giving you the formula for what's the problem, how do you solve it, what's the transformation. And you don't have to deal with all that with the key message that connects here in the middle, but you do want to get that message across. And then right underneath that message, remember we talked about the Z and Z pattern? You see this direct call to action, which is book your session. You want that right underneath that statement. Okay. So then I've got images, newborn. If you are anything like me, you've been desperate for this day to come around. So you're starting to get into that messaging here. So I want that messaging on 3 lines here. 1, 2, 3 lines. Yeah. So that when I connect, I should get the key message of the key benefit of I employing you as my newborn photographer without having to scroll. It has to be here above the fold with my direct call to action, which is book your session. Then my indirect call to action, if I have one, would sit beside it. So what's an indirect call to action? So if this is a landing page, which effectively it is, your website is a landing page that you're driving traffic to. So on the landing page, what I'd be looking for here then is, it might be get your free guide to the 7 considerations, safety considerations when choosing your newborn photographer. Yeah. So in return for that, they're going to give you their email address. And now you have their email address for all of your retargeting. So if you're building out marketing funnels, like we teach at Business Success Academy, you're then, that's called a lead magnet. We're using that lead magnet to capture their email address to be able to nurture that lead through to when they're ready to buy. Yeah. So the same principle applies here, because this effectively is a landing page for your newborn. Yeah. People get confused as to, well, what's a landing page as part of a funnel versus my website. Your website is a landing page. It's where traffic is going to, where they're going to land. Yeah. So it's just a fancy marketing term for your website that deals with that particular offering that you have. Okay. So what am I looking for here then? I'm looking for what does failure look like? So failure looks like, and you can tell this in a story. So for example, and this might link back to your purpose or your why as to why you do newborn photography. So the newborn photographers I see doing this really, really well, they'd say, hi, I'm Sarah. I have 2 children aged 14 and 16. And when they were born, I didn't get images of them as a newborn. So I missed out on that. And I realize how important those images are to every mum and dad going forward. So my purpose is to ensure that no other parent misses out on those special memories. Does that make sense? So you're using your purpose and your story, if that is your purpose, that's why you are a newborn photographer, that you're using that in your story to capture, build empathy. So I'm building empathy there. I'm explaining, I understand your pain. Yeah. And the pain in this case was because I missed out on photographs of my children. And that's why I do this. And this is why it's important. So you're building your empathy there with your purpose and your why. Yeah. And you're dealing with the failure piece. So in StoryBrand, we teach success, failure. You know, you got to deal with the failure too. If I don't avail of your service, what am I going to miss out on? That's the question. What is your client going to miss out on if they don't avail of your service? And capture that in there as well. So the other piece is you have 2 types of people. So you have people like me who are a scanner, and you have people who are detailed. The best way I describe this is I'm a scanner. So I want to scan, get the message quickly without reading all the detail. My wife, who's an accountant, she'll read every single word, not once, not twice, but probably 3 times. So we're the 2 extremes of that. So how you deal with both those people is, yes, you have to detail, but you need to capture for the scanner the key detail in bold text as a headline. So that's how you break that messaging up. So I love the idea of the video. So the video here is reinforcing. It's probably a video testimonial because it's linked to Libby's testimonial here. This find out more button. So this looks like an indirect call to action, but really I want this direct call to action, this book your session, to follow me down the page, if that makes sense. I want to see that going down. So online booking, now I can make my online booking. I'm Sarah, I'm your photographer, find out more. So again, this find out more, what I don't want this to do is to bring me to another page. I'm not going to click on it, Sarah, but what I want, if you've more details you want to get, don't bring them away to another page that they have to find their way back, because that's not going to work on mobile. What we want to see is that this will expand. So if you've loads of text, yeah. So for example, up here, you can have the, a couple of lines that get this message across. And then for those who want to read more detail, learn more, and it just expands out. Yeah. So what else am I looking for? I'm looking for contact, ways to contact you. So what I would like to see is, if there's an online chat, so you can install Messenger really easy on this, because a lot of people want to interact on Messenger. So for example, there was research done by the marketing generations recently, and if your client is a millennial, which they probably are for newborn, and even Gen Z now are coming into newborn age category, the oldest Gen Z is 24 now. So if that's the age group of your client, in 60% plus of cases, they want to either interact with you on social media, or they want to interact you on Messenger on a Messenger chatbot. So again, if you can install Messenger, and on our website on 3xmsolution.com, if you go to our blog, Zena has a 10-minute overview of how you can install Messenger on your website really easy, and it doesn't cost you anything. So it's a really good way to communicate with your clients. Okay, so let's just go on to the next one. Okay, I'll put on my glasses because I'm just struggling to. Arevellano photography. Okay, so again, photography is here, so I know I'm dealing with a photographer. That's good. So see, I love this. Request a session now. It's a different color. It stands out. I can't but miss that. Photography that makes you look and feel great. Request a session. Okay. So my question would be, I love this, that this is here, the direct call to action, that I click on it. The text, I love that it's a line of text. What I'd ask you to figure out is, the hero here is the photography. So the hero has to be the client. You're merely the guide. So what I'd ask you is, how does your photography make your client look and feel great? So how does it achieve that for your client? And then make it about the client feeling great and looking good. Does that make sense? And that's a bit of a rounded way of saying that, but that's what I would say in that. But I like that there's one line there that's excellent. Only the best, fresh ideas, unique look. So again, do you remember we talked a little earlier about the headline and then the detail here? So that's what you're trying to do, capture with your headline as to what the message you're trying to do. Fresh ideas and unique look. Okay. So again, the hero there for me is the photographer. So can you translate that into what it means for the client? So, so how can I do that on the fly? Let's try and think up of something. Everybody deserves an image, or everybody deserves to be captured in a unique way that reflects them. Okay, that's really bad, but you know where I'm getting at? It's more about the client, and then you can go as to how you achieve that, yeah? But that the key message is about them, about the client. Okay, so here again, we have the different types of portraiture. So again, getting back to the messaging. So if this is a main page, your home page, then you're not going to be driving traffic here. So it can be a bit more general. But then when I get into the individual ones, I want them to talk to me. So let's just click on sports rates. Okay. So what I'm hoping that I see here is when I get to this page, that I'm going to see it talking to athletes. And it's going to have, okay, here we go. So Sport Rates Gallery, we sure love what we do and the awesome people we get to work with. Have a look through the gallery and some of your favorites. Okay, so this is the most, 99% of websites I see are like this when I click through to the detail. So what I want to see here is it has to be, again, story branded in the same format as any page, because you're going to be driving traffic from your marketing straight to this page when your messaging is about your sport rate offering. Yeah. So what we need to have here is, again, we need to have the key message. We need to request a session now to be the button underneath it. And the messaging here might be something like, every athlete deserves to be reflected in a photographic portrait unique to them. Yeah. So that's what you're trying to capture there. So you're trying to capture something that talks to that client about their sport rate. So what's special about their sport rate to them? So however that makes them feel, that you're capturing that there. So again, what's the problem? So the problem is you've spent 10 years training to be absolutely the best sports person you can be. So that's who they are. So the problem is that you spent 10 years becoming the best sports person you are, but that hasn't been reflected in art, in photographic art that you can enjoy forevermore to remember these special days. Yeah, so it's about the client that they've worked hard. Think about the sports people. They work really, really hard to be the best in their field that they possibly can. So, and they need something to remember that special moment of when they were at the top of their game. And you do that through sport rate photography. Yeah. And again, it has to be story branded down. What does failure look like if I don't, so what does failure look like for one of these athletes if they don't capture it in photographic art that they can enjoy forever? So, you are now at the top of your game, of your game. And as you get older, you will become less of a, you know where I'm going with this. I'm trying to just get across the idea that you got to show them what failure looks like if they don't capture it now when they are at the top of their game. So you'd have to spend time coming up with that language. Yeah. And then what I want to see is I want to see this request a session now, follow me down. And your lead magnet might be, why it's important to remember when you were at top of your game in sports. Yeah. And then you can tell, and then when I download that, then it tells them why it's important. And then all of your retargeting and that you do later, once you capture that lead, will be linked around that story and the elements of that lead magnet. Yeah. Okay. So this is what I see all the time. So don't be put off by this. So what I'm saying here is that when I get into the specific genres, quite often it's a gallery and it's not worked out like a full story branded page, like sometimes the homepage is. But because you're not directing traffic to your homepage, you need to have that. Again, we talked about contact. So what I'd like to see is, how do I contact you? So if there's an online chat, again, that we can do that interacts with it. That will help enormously. And I know that's a lot of work, because for each genre or type of photography you do, you need to have that page all in one scroll that deals with all those elements that we've discussed. Okay. Put on my glass again. So dog, patch, pet, portraits. Okay. So what I want to see is top left, I want to see your logo. And I want to see that you're a photographer. So pet portraits. So you're concentrating on pet portraits. Excellent. Love that. So because pet portrait is part of the logo, but we need to get the logo up here top left, because that's where I'm going to start my scan. So I might go here and say, I still can't figure out who they are because I'm not looking here, you know, because I'm going to look here first to see who they are. And then I'm going to go down here and back across. So get that logo top left. Again, whatever the direct call to action is. So inquire about your custom portrait session, call Susan. Okay, so this is the direct call to action that you want them to call you. So this needs to be top right here as well. So I see what you do. So dog patch pet portraits, I scan, I can contact you there and then. Yeah. I love the fact that the phone number is here, and not in this location, but I love that it's on the website, because quite often photographers don't have the number on their website. So if I want to contact you by phone, if I'm one of those people who want to contact by phone, then I want to see that option there. So, so for example, if my clients are over 75 years of age, 97% of those preferred contact with a potential business is by phone, which is completely opposite of what we just talked about with Gen Z and millennials, yeah, where more than 60% want to either interact with you on social media or want to interact you on a chat. So it's important to understand the age bracket and the marketing generation of your client as well, with regards to what contact strategies you're going to implement. Okay. Right, so let's just do the scan. Your pet becomes a work of art with photographic fine art patch. So again, the hero here is the photographer, it's dog patch, and because your pet becomes a work of art. So my question to you is, rather than it being about the product, what you do, what does that do for your client? What does that do for your client? So, so what's the problem? So the problem is that your dog, a dog's life is shorter, right? I think, I'm not into dogs, but I think, you know, the average age is much shorter. It's not 1 human year equals 7 dogs years or something. So it has to be something around. So the problem is that time's the problem. So your dog is probably your best friend. However, they won't be here with you forever. It's important to capture images of that special relationship now, so you can enjoy these memories forevermore. You know, that's not proper copywritten language. That's language I'm coming up off the top of my head, but I'm really just going through the formula in my head very, very quickly. Is what's the problem? How do you solve it? What's the transition? And the transition, like imagine, is a really good word to do there, because when you use the word imagine, it gets the mind open, doesn't it? And it gets you picturing and envisioning what the end result is. So imagine enjoying works of art of your pet portrait forevermore. Yeah. But that comes as the third piece of the jigsaw. The first one is, what's the problem? So it may be time, it may be something else, whatever you think that is. As I said, I don't have a dog, so I don't know what that is. But quite often, a lot of photography is around, you know, capturing time, because time's the enemy, you know. So the problem is that time is the enemy and we don't capture that. There's a question coming in here. My question is, how do I solve the problem better than your phone photos you already have? Okay, so this is my website. Okay, well, I've never seen anyone being able to capture images like that on a phone. I'm not a photographer, but to me, those images look really, really well. So you've got to, how you do that is you've got to, Susan, you've got to make the messaging emotional. So you've got to deal with what's the problem, how do you solve it? So it doesn't become about just whether I can do it on my phone or not. And then you get over that by your messaging and how important it is and what you can achieve that you can't achieve on a phone. I don't know anybody who could achieve an image on a phone like that. Now, maybe that's just maybe naive because I'm not a photographer. But you've got to get that messaging across, that it has to be about the client and it has to become emotional rather than the end product. So I think part of the problem here is it's focused on the product, that it's a piece of artwork, rather than being emotional about the problem it solves and how it's solved. and then what the transformation is for the client. I hope that helps. Phone snapshots don't measure up to your love. Okay, so we're starting to get here. So this is sort of saying what failure looks like. So what failure is, that if you just rely on phone snapshots, you're not going to achieve the end result of enjoying this photographic art forevermore. Yeah, which links back to the imagine enjoying photographic hours of your special relationship forevermore. Your pet is everything, you love him. So this is starting to get into the language that we want to see up here as the main message, yeah, rather than this being the main message. So not about the solution, but what's the problem, how do you solve it, and then the transformation. So I like the way that this is following me down here. We want to make sure that this messaging here is up here top right as well, Susan. Okay, so love this, and we haven't seen it on the previous websites. So another important part of story branding and website or landing page is your client doesn't understand the process they have to go through. So we assume as the business owner, and all businesses do this regardless of the business, is that because we know our business so well, we assume that when someone visits our website that they understand the process as well. So here Susan is doing really, really well to explain the process. The only thing that's missing here is a number. So the human brain thinks in numbers as steps along the way. So it's really good to put a number in there that I understand it's a process. So meet and treat. So this is the pre-shoot consultation by the sound of it, yeah? Then we have our portrait session, then we've order and design, and then we have enjoy your art. So you see, you're getting the transformation piece here, which is, it's very unusual. I see this, so I love that the fourth step in the process can be about the transformation. So you're starting to get that there, the transformation, you know, as to what the end result is, which is enjoying your art of your special relationship you have with your pet, your best friend, yeah, or your furry best friend, or whatever language you want to use around that. So I love that. So here we have then inquire about your session, call or email me. So love that. So the only thing that's missing here then is a transitional call to action. So the transitional call to action we called about is something where when somebody visits this landing page, that they leave their details in return for something of value. So, and the best way to determine as to what that is the biggest objections you get from your client, other than price, or the biggest questions you get from a client who's inquiring about availing of your service. If you can reflect that in your lead magnet, that can help. And the other important thing about the lead magnet, that the return you give them, is you're setting them up for the sale afterwards then. So they're downloading the lead magnet because they're not ready to buy yet, but then you use your communications afterwards to nurture them by dealing with those objections that you deal with in your lead magnet to convert them to a purchase at some stage of your session. Okay, hopefully that helps. So I should be doing this to these as I go along so I know where I am. Okay, so in depth. Okay, this is David, I think, is it? I think it is. Okay, David, so your main call to action here I see is to call you. So rather than having your phone number here, I would change that, if that's your main call to action, to call. Special offer on bookings, claim a complimentary framed desktop. Yes, please, no thanks. Okay, so this talks to me a little bit, David, of it's a bit early in the offer. So I've just, it's like, if you imagine that I'm coming here and I don't know you, so I'm at the consideration stage and straight away you're selling me. Yeah. It's like, I think I give the analogy quite often. It's like you're walking down the street and you're single and you see a beautiful woman across the road who you fancy because she's just caught your eye, and you go straight up to her and say, hey, I just saw you across the road and I think you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Will you marry me? You know, the likely end result is not very good. So again, it's the same here. It's a bit early to sell me. Really what I want to see here is, what's the problem? How do you solve it? How am I transformed? And I know I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but it has to be said because you've got to have messaging here that connects with your ideal client. And this is going to maybe convert for people who are bottom feeders, who are chasing a deal all the time. And that's not really who you want. So I would consider taking that out. And then we get, again, the main message I'm seeing here is that you're the hero rather than the guide. So the main message here is that it's about you being the award-winning photographer. So really that comes later when you're going to build some authority and some empathy. So, okay, so here's a really good example of good copywriting, is to ask a question. So, and the question you're asking is, the answer has to be a yes. So you write your copy to be yes. So looking for timeless, beautiful, and elegant images of your loved ones. Yeah. So who's not going to be looking for timeless, beautiful, elegant images of their loved ones? Everyone is. Yeah. It may not fit on the landing page here, but that would be wonderful copy from my ad that I'm going to run on social media to direct people here. Yeah, that could be the call. That could be a great first line of the advert rather than on the website. Okay, we can help you to plan amazing experience with photos that you will cherish forever. So that's starting to get there, David, in the messaging that I want to see up here rather than this and this. Okay. Maternity, newborn. So that's why choose in-depth photos. Okay. Professionally qualified. Okay, so free consultation appointment, clear pricing before and after your session, contact us. Okay, so I love the way you've got the process here. So there's 3 steps. Again, if you can get a number, there's a consultation, there's a photo session, a viewing and ordering. So learn more. So this is an indirect call to action. So the learn more is probably bringing me to somewhere where I fill out a form or I find out something more. So again, that would be the indirect call to action here, to learn more. But learn more is a, it's not really, the language is not encouraging me to do something. I'd like to know what that is, what that learn more is about. And I know I could click on the button, but I'm purposely not. What our clients say, so we've testimonials. So I love that. Again, if you can have video testimonial, that helps then even be stronger than just a text testimonial. So, you know, it's possible for you to capture video testimonials as a photographer. They don't have to be high production things. They can be really, really simple. But you know, I would love to see this in a video where this client, where Tracy is talking about this and how wonderful it was in a video, and then it shows the final image that she bought, or one of the images she bought. So you're getting her story and then you're showing the beautiful image that she bought. Yeah. Latest blog posts. Okay, so that's the blog that you're probably doing for SEO and stuff. So we have some authority here because you're a member of BIPP, MPA, you've got your Licentriate, you're a member of SWP and things. So that's building some authority. So hopefully that's of some help back to you, David. So the key things I would change is change this to not contact me, contact's a terrible name. Let's chat, or wherever that is, and then they can phone you rather than having the actual phone number there. Do away with this, get your key messaging here in the center where I can see. And then again, because you're doing multiple different, let's just click through on one, David, just to see. Let's go on pets. Okay, so that's not bringing me to pets. Okay, so let me just see, how do I get to pets? See, I would assume, David, that will bring me off to a link to a page that just talks about pet photography, and this one, children and family, and this one, newborn. Let's just see, are they any live links? Okay, so that one is, it was just a pet one. Maybe I wasn't pressing it right. So, newborn and baby photography serving Wolverhampton. So, for your advertising that's pushing newborn and baby photography, this is where you're going to direct your traffic to, not your homepage. So again, you have to have your messaging here that achieves that. Newborn and baby, latest blog post. So this page then has to be story branded fully out too, David. So the process. So do you remember the process you had on your page 1, which is really, really good? You need to have that here. So every single page that deals with a particular type or genre of photography that you're going to be directing traffic to that page has to be fully story branded to deal with. direct call to action, the indirect call to action, the messaging that connects. What's the problem? How do you solve it? What's the transformation? That shows them failure, that shows them the process and the plan of interacting with the service, that has your testimonials that talk specifically about that genre of photography, that builds empathy and builds authority for this type of photography. So anything like that, it will be, we need to have in there. Connie, yes, the answer to your question is all these tomorrow will be in the group as a recording, and there's previous websites in there as well. So if you missed your, I'm not sure if you've done your website yet, Connie, but if we have, yes, it'll be, no, we're coming to you next, you're on time, you're okay. We're just about to come to you. So hopefully that helps. So, okay, so love this. So this is called an exit intent. Yeah. So an exit intent is when somebody goes to leave your website, a pop-up comes. So on that photos, newborns, little cherubs, sign up today and receive your jam-packed information guide straight to your inbox. Okay. So this language needs to change a little bit to talk about what's in this guide. And this guide should be no more than probably 4 pages. So this is your lead magnet. So if I was using this lead magnet as what I'm giving you for free in return for your email address, this would not just be an exit intent. It would be here as a transitional call to action. So get our guide. Yeah. So your direct call to action would be phone us or let's chat. Yeah. And your indirect call to action would be download our guide on whatever the key benefits in this are for newborn little cherubs. Yeah? Okay, so hopefully that's of some help. Right, so Connie, you just made it on time. Excellent. Okay, so let's have a quick look, Connie. Okay, so. Okay, I'm just doing a quick scan first, Connie, before I get into the detail. Okay. Right, so I'm not a big fan, Connie, of having my navigation here in the left. In fact, in StoryBrand, we say you want to have a minimum navigation that's not going to distract your client. So I love that you've got portraits here. So if you were just Connie Mintz here and you didn't have portraits, I wouldn't know what you are. So if your name for your company doesn't say what you do, you need to add a line that explains what you do. So then this schedule an appointment, I would want to be top right. So that's my direct call to action. I love that it's a different color. That's really good. But the location I want is top right for that. And it does reappear here, but it reappears under your messaging. So let's just have a look at this. So capture your family's beautiful story. We celebrate you and your loved ones, the most important relationship in your life, through timeless portraits. So we talked a little bit earlier about this, about making it about your client, and Connie's doing that here. Capture your family's beautiful story. We celebrate you and your loved ones, the most important relationships in your life, through timeless portraits. Okay, so how I would change this is I would change it that here's the solution, but what's the problem? So the problem is that often people don't make the time to capture their family's beautiful story. Yeah, so just change this, that rather than being the solution, the problem. So the problem is that people don't make time to capture their family's beautiful story. We believe this is important. We celebrate you and your loved ones. Yeah, so you get that across. Imagine being able to enjoy those special memories forevermore. So problem, solution, transformation. And imagine is a great word for that. Okay, so schedule an appointment. So I like that. And just think about your brand in terms of what language you use in this button. So for example, quite often I see contact me. Contact me for me doesn't reflect what a lot of photographers I see in their brand, that it's very corporate-y. However, if I was doing headshots for the legal profession or those professions, then maybe it is contact me because that's the language they're used to. But for most photography, I see contact me is a little bit, it's obvious here you want them to schedule an appointment. Okay, so here, Connie, you're telling about you. Connie Mitz, our studio provides custom photography and location especially in capturing from your story. Okay, so I'd want to change this to reflect, Connie, your purpose, why you're a photographer, the problem you solve for them, why that's important. And so you've got the key here, but you need to translate that into here about you. So you've got your testimonials. Again, we talked about video testimonial. If you can get that in there, it's really powerful. And the other thing that's really powerful in videos, people love videos behind the scenes. So if you can have a behind the scenes video, so you're building your authority here. So you're a PPA photographer, Google verified, portrait masters. So that's all very good. And what's not here is the plan. So we discussed earlier, Connie, is the plan. So we assume that our clients know the process that they go through. So it might be pre-shoot consultation, and your studio session, your ordering session, your viewing and ordering session. And then the fourth one can often be the transformation. So, you know, and the fourth one might be and enjoying your portraits forever. So link back to the problem, whatever that is. So the problem that you solve, what's the transformation, and reflect that as the fourth step in the process. So it doesn't actually have to be a step that they go through with you. It's the end result of what you've supplied them. So I'm just going to click here quickly just on one of these just to headshot and portraits. Okay, so again, and 99, in fact 999 out of 1,000 websites I look at, this is what happens. So don't be put off by what I'm saying. So what we want to see here is when we're talking about headshots, we need to follow exactly the same format that we've just discussed on the homepage, because you're not going to direct traffic to your homepage. Because if you direct traffic to your homepage and you offer multiple genres, people are going to say, oh, this is not for me, or they'll see the wrong image or whatever. So your traffic for headshots is going to be directed to this page. So it has to talk to them in exactly the same way as we've just discussed about your homepage. Yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. Wrong link, damn, that's a reflection, a redirection page. Okay, David, no problem. If you want to share the link in here, David, we'll have a quick look at it. If you want to give me the new link, just post it here and we'll have a look at it. Okay, so Elizabeth, let's have a look. So Elizabeth Pyatt commissioned portraits. Okay, so again, this logo can be here. It can be top left, but I want to see here is, rather than contact us, I see as direct action. We've already talked about, like, these images reflect for me a brand that's not really corporate-y. You know, it's you know, they're wonderful images and they look like fun, and I'd say your brand is very, if your brand is a reflection of the images I see here, I see fun and I see joy and I see happiness, and contact us doesn't say that, does it? And so let's chat might be let's have a chat. You know, it's more informal is what I would suggest. Okay, so then children's artistry, changing lives, creating memories, structure, much experience. So again, we're doing multiple stuff here. There's family, children, through creation of timeless wall art and books that would be cherished for generations. So we're starting to get the messaging here, but again, the hero is you. So if you can lead with your client. And the other important thing in copywriting is if you can start with you, or you is in there. So let's just try and use that to translate this. The Elizabeth Pyatt portrait experience captures the love of family, children, and pets through the creation of timeless wall art and books that will be cherished for generations. Okay. So we know your love of family, children, and pets is vitally important to you. We capture those relationships in portraiture that you can cherish forever. Imagine enjoying those memories forevermore. Right? That's really bad copywriting, but again, I'm just trying to explain the process. Yeah, so that's what we're trying to capture out. Thanks, David. We'll have a look at that now in a few minutes. So again, book now. So that's the direct call to action. Okay, so this is charity, which is really good to see. I love to see charity experiences. The family one's masterpieces. Okay, so what's missing? So what I'd like to see is the process. So what's the process we go through? So let's just click through on one of them, right? I'm really loving that image, so I'm going to click on that one. So, do you dream of the perfect session for you and your 4 kids? Okay, so see that line? Love it. Open question. You know, if I've clicked on an advert, if I'm not into my 4 pets, my 4 kids, because I don't have dogs, yeah, I'm not going to click on that. So that's a really good way to start a question in my advert that's going to direct them here. And then you can just reinforce that here. So you might have, do you dream of the perfect session for you and your 4 kids? So what's the perfect session? So rather than focusing on the session, the photography session, what's the end outcome of the perfect session? And I try and get that in here. Yeah. Do you wish there was a photography experience that captured your relationship between you and your family and your pet? Would you love to have a photographer that's experienced in working with dogs and humans and is able to photograph unique personality in each of you? Okay, so this is going the right direction, but again, I'm asking the question, who's the hero? Is it you or is it your client and are you just a guide? So it's really hard sometimes to do that in language because it's hard for us not to put us first as the solution provider. So I'd ask you to revisit that and see how can you reword that. So your relationships between your family and your pet are really important. Wouldn't you love a photography experience that captures those relationships, those important relationships? You see the difference? It's just a slight play on words, but it's you're putting the client first. So that reads to me that you're the hero rather than the client. So you want the client to be the hero and you're their guide to achieve their end outcome. Yeah. Step 1, book your session. So love this, love the fact that there's a number. So this is what we were talking about earlier about having the process. What's the process I go through? Do you remember we talked earlier too about, you know, that there's big text that summarize what's going to happen. So for people like me, I'll go step 1, book your session. Step 2, getting to know you, introductions and planning. Step 3, rock the lens studio day. Step 4, viewing and ordering. And then we have delivery. Step 5, installation. Okay. So we try, if you can get these steps back to 3 steps. So booking the session may not be a required step. So it may not be. I'm trying to see what you're saying. So you're asking them to book before you talk to them, before the planning session. So if that's the process, well, then that's the process, yeah? So you need to book. Then we do the pre-shoot consultation. Then we have the studio day. Then we have the ordering session. Then we have the delivery. So this delivery and installation could probably be combined into one step. So I'm trying to reduce down. 5 is just an awful lot of steps. So if we can reduce that process down a little bit. But getting back to the previous point, see, I'm scanning. I'm not going to read the detail. So I'm getting what the steps are by just reading the text. So that's brilliant work. And then for the detailed person, they'll go into each word here and read all that. I never will because I'm a scanner. And a lot of people are scanners, but the people who like all the detail and, you know, I said, my wife, she'll read this 3 times each one. Yeah, because she wants all the detail and to make sure she fully understands the process. Okay, so that's good. So see this book now button? So that's our main call to action. This book now button should be top right. Yeah, if that's what you want them to do. So because this is saying to me that what you actually want me to do is to book now before anything else happens. So if that's the case, that has to be up here. If the first step is that there's going to be a pre-shoot consultation, we get to know each other first, then it's let's chat. Yeah. So hopefully that helps there. So then I'm missing here then on this page, I want to see the testimonials. I want to see behind the scene, if you got behind the scene. Here's another thing I really, really love, and this is really important. You see the way the end result has been shown to me as a physical product rather than just an image? That's really important too, that your client can see the end result, not just as an image, but how it's going to be used. So that's really, really good. So a lot of photographers just show the image rather than how it's going to be used. Yeah. So whatever you want your client to buy, try and reflect that in the images you show as well, especially in your adverts and stuff, because people are used to seeing images that are just, and I'm not saying there's loads of images to this quality, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when you show them an image where it's actually suggesting the enjoyment and the end product, that's even more powerful if you can do that. Okay, and then video, if you can get video in there, and then the chat, if there's a way to have a chat with you. If you can manage Messenger, that's really good. Okay, hopefully that helps. Right, let's go on to the next one. Okay, I just wanted to show you this because this is a work in progress. So for those of you who are in the UK, know that I'm involved with Photography Without Frontiers, which is a charity initiative that we've just set up. And Damien McGillicuddy and myself are working on this, and we have 100 studios now signed up. But I just want to show you some of the principles of story branding here. And this has not been proofread a second time, but just bear with me. It'll just help a little bit. So if you are like us, you want to show your support for NHS Heroes too. So the NHS, just our health service in the UK, I'm not in the UK, but in the UK is completely different. So it's unlike the US where everyone can have access to the NHS to have medical services for absolutely free. Yeah, it's all included. The taxpayer pays the fee. So as a result, the same way as in the US, we might look at food banks as being, you know, a real critical charity thing right now. In the UK, our NHS heroes, you know, they're putting their lives at risk every single day. There's a massive goodwill towards them. So in this messaging, if you are like us, is a great way to build trust. So what it's saying to the person is, you know, you can trust me because I'm like you, because we know you want to support our NHS heroes as well. Our NHS heroes risk their lives every day fighting the silent enemy. Let's join forces to show them our support and gratitude. We promise to help you celebrate your donation with a professionally produced I supported our NHS heroes social media portrait for free. Click below to complete your donation to the NHS heroes. So this is my direct call to action. And what I haven't done yet is this will have to appear top right and the logo has to go in here top left. Yeah, the Photography Without Frontiers logo. Again, this donate button follows me down the page. So this is just building some empathy and some trust to explain what it's all about. Because when you're a charity, you have two clients. Yeah, you have the donator and you have the charity. So you have to address those two things. Ignore this image. This is just there's a proper image going in here. So this will be an image that reflects the type of photography that the studios will do. And this will have the logo of the photographer as well as the overall brand. But this shows the steps. So remember we talked about the steps? So step 1, make your initial donation. You see the highlight and then the smaller text. Step 2, find your donation and receive an email to choose your photographer. Step 3, contact your local Photography Without Frontiers photographer to book your free photo session. Step 4, enjoy your professional photography experience. Step 5, and this is the please share your image on social media to turn it NHS blue. So this is for the donation. The Photography Without Frontiers photographers are providing a photography session and they will provide free of charge because of the donation made an image which is like this with the photographer's logo here for them to share on social media to say that I as a consumer supported our NHS. Yeah. Again, it follows down. So this is to build empathy and this is to build authority. So here are the organizers, Damien McGillicuddy, a bit about Damien, Ronan Ryle, a bit about Ronan Ryle. The agreement. So what's the agreement? So it's a charity initiative. It's all about the charity. It's about recognizing our heroes. All donated monies go to the NHS charities. So there's no fees here that we are collecting as the organizers. It's all going there. You get this social media image absolutely free for you in return for your donation. You will be given the opportunity to purchase additional images if you so wish, but there's no requirement for you to do so. And the photographers participating, that they are all independent photo studios who we believe share our values to show our gratitude and support for NHS heroes, but you are dealing with them as individual businesses. Then what's the key outcome of it? Donate again. Our promise to you. So what's the promises? Here's more about the charity if you want to find out about the charity. If you're not ready yet to buy, then why not join us on our Facebook group? So we're encouraging them to like the Facebook group so that then we can also retarget them with social media advertising and email marketing to get them in. And in case there's a photographer who wants to join this initiative, so we only launched this a couple of weeks ago, we've over 100 studios who are already starting to take part. So if you're a photographer and you want to get involved in this, click here and to bring them to a page then to sign up as a photographer. That's just to give you an idea of, this is a work in progress, which is to give you an idea. Okay. Oh, I want to get behind there. Go out of that. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Richard, good to see you. Richard Szymanski, photographer. So let me just have a quick look here. So again, the logo can be here, Richard, or you can put it over here, top left. The main call to action here is your phone numbers. Rather than that, I'd like this to be, let's have a chat, or whatever that might be. Yeah, and when they click on that, it directly dials your number, or they fill out a form for you to contact, or it just says dial us here now on this. So you can actually make these live, that when they click on it, that let's have a chat, that it literally dials, or wherever that is. So again, contact that. We talked about contact. You know, it's sort of one of those website things that everyone does because they think that's what it should be. So again, looking at the imagery that you're showing me, this is a bit corporate-y for me. That's what I'd say. See these pieces? So a lot of people say, oh, this story brand would say this should be in the junk box, so down the bottom. So they might be fine for the homepage of your website, but if this is a landing page talking about specifically one of these items, I put all this in the junk box. So I would just have my logo, I would have my direct call to action, I have my messaging here that deals with whatever photography I'm selling. So see, click here, that needs to be whatever the direct call to action is. So I think what you're saying to me is, if I'm interested in family portraits, click here. So maybe this is not the page to review because this is just a landing page. So let's just go through to one of these. Let's just click here and see what happens. Okay. So Richard, if you've been with us earlier, so this is what we don't want to see, is because in your advertising, Richard, you're going to be directing traffic that is linking with the client who wants family portraiture. Rather than bringing them to your homepage, you're going to bring them to this page. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to take away any confusion. So when I'm here, I could land when the baby image is here and say, oh, that's not family portraiture, it's children's portraiture. Or I may be interested in pet photography. But if I don't see a pet here as the main image, well, then you've lost me straight away. So what we're looking to do is whatever, so there's three types. Yeah, so there's portrait, prices, and then there's animals, and then there's, okay. So we've got to take this, Richard, and we just got to build a page that deals with each of these areas of photography. So if it's pet photography, then we need to deal with that. Portrait photographer, Szymanski, view more. Let's just click on one of these just to see where it brings me, Richard. Okay. So this is now starting to get into the area of pet photography. So again, rather than just the images, we need to story brand this fully out with the whole details. So what's the problem? How do you solve it? What's the transformation with the image? With the, what does failure look like if I don't get an image of my beautiful horse that I'm in love with? What is the process? So pre-shoot consultation, if there is one, the actual shoot, your viewing and ordering session. Testimonials that talk exactly about the equine photography, yeah. With video if you can. Then you're going to have your authority. So I'm an award-winning photographer in equestrian, if you got an award in equestrian photography. So everything has to link back through the process for the client to what you've driven that traffic with, yeah. So hopefully that helps. Okay, how are we doing on time? Okay, we're gone over, and we only have 2 more to do. Good, okay. Oh, we've 3 to get to David's too. We'll get to that now in a second. So, Hatton Pet Portrait Studio, love it. Why do I love that? Because it's telling me exactly what we're doing. So I know here, just as I do that Z, it's Pet Portrait Studio. It's Hatton Pet Portrait Studio. If that was just Hatton and these words weren't here, I wouldn't know what Hatton is. Yeah. So a wonderful example as to how to do it absolutely perfectly. And I love the way that it's part of the logo and stuff. Love that. Okay, so loved in format. We've talked about this. Let's chat. Okay, so I would have that green like that as your direct call to action, because that's what you want them to do. You want them to have a chat and interact with you. So make that green all the time as a direct call to action, and just don't bother. Just change those as I'm going over. Just have the let's chat and turn off the green on the home. Yeah, because I don't really want to know where I am. I want the standout color to be what's the action you want me as your client to take. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, they leave paw prints on our hearts. Hello, Arizona pet lover. A portrait of your pet is one of the most unique and meaningful gifts you can give yourself. We appreciate the incredible bond created with our pets. The love you have for your pet is unconditional and brightness. Okay, so this text is really, really good and it's getting there. I just want it to be a little bit shorter. So if you can find a way to summarize this in just three lines. So rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I'm gonna get all that into just 3 lines. Yeah. Enter to win a pet portrait session. Okay, so this is your indirect call to action. So your indirect call to action is you're not ready to buy yet. Why not enter to win a pet portrait session? So we have to be careful sometimes where this appears, because you may have people entering this rather than having a chat, because they say, oh no, I'm not going to spend any money yet, or even risk spending any money in case that I win. Yeah, so you could potentially be putting people off by having that here. So where this would be really, really good would be an exit intent. So do you remember, I can't remember whose website it was, when I went to exit, it popped up. This would be a wonderful exit intent pop-up. So the person's about to leave your website, they haven't clicked on let's have a chat, and you're saying, oh, before you go, don't miss out, you could actually win a free pet portrait session. So hopefully that makes sense. Call Jen now for a special offer and complimentary portrait consultation. So again, that's a direct call to action. There's a testimonial here. There's another testimonial, but I'm not seeing the process. So I want to see the process. If you can have video testimonial, that's great. I love the way you're planting the seed in my brain as to how what you do can be shown. So do you remember we talked a little bit earlier as to the product literally on the wall rather than just the images of those? So I love that. So you're already setting in my brain that the end result of this is I'm going to buy wall portraiture. Yeah, so I love that. So it's very subliminal, but it's really important. Your PPA, if I don't know who PPA is, you need to sort of explain a bit about that, what that means. You're trying to build authority. I know who PPA is, so that's the authority, but a lot of consumers won't know what PPA is about. So if you are a PPA certified photographer, get that in, just those certified photographer in there, then is already building credibility that I know you have a qualification as a photographer. Yeah. So hopefully that helps. Again, if you can have online chat, put it in there. It's really, really important. And again, I love the way you're selling pet portraiture, so it's nearly easier for you to have this absolutely just dealing with the pet photography. And in this case, you can direct your traffic to your homepage because you're not trying to sell multiple genres of photography on the one page. The only thing I would add is there's a suggestion that you might be. Okay, so yes and no, maybe. I guess these images, they stood out for me. I didn't see the dogs there. So this was obviously a portrait session where the dog and the animal is part of it, but I just didn't see that detail there. So it's fine. I thought that they were all images of portrait photography without having the dogs in there, but that's fine. That's okay. Ignore I even said anything about that. Okay, so hopefully that's of some help. And there's some key tips there. So what I want to go to, I'm going to go to David's. I just want to show you. Yeah, no, let me show you this first. Let's go to David's. Let's see how I can copy that. Okay, so we've got the new link. Excellent. So on the in-depth photos, schedule a free callback. So that's the direct call to action. So I love that. Again, I want to see that top right, David, if you can. So that's the exit intent popping up. So maybe it's not an exit intent, it just pops up after a period of time. So I would turn that into an exit intent. So when someone goes to leave, that maybe you have that. Or if it's more of a lead gen, then you could have it here as an indirect call to action. So direct call to action, schedule a free call. Indirect call to action is get our free guide on whatever that is. Beautiful and bespoke newborn photography. Okay, so again, rather than describing what you do, if we can turn it into what's the problem, how do you solve it, what's the transformation? Yeah, so you can answer those 3 questions that will help. So we have your location. So we have some more images. Words cannot express enough the joy and happiness that a new life brings, but a photo can capture their beauty forever. So this is then building some authority. So this is starting to link with your why. I know you've done ways to go, so hopefully that has helped and come up with that. And capture the precious moments as the beginning of life's great adventures. Congratulations on your expectant arrival. So this is building empathy and trust, and you're saying we as parents understand that. Very patient and skilled photographer. So here's the testimonial. When to book. So that's good. So this is when I need to book. So safety and so if you could extend this when to book and just if you can summarize this in just a couple of words here, that would help. Staff and safety first, so it has to be a first consideration. So staff and safety has to be your first consideration, and then get into the detail. So I get what I'm trying to get there is for a scanner like me, I want to get it into one sentence what this all says. So staff and safety has to be your first consideration. Then I know that you're focused on staff and safety without reading this. Safety first in safe hands. So the journey. So again, if we can get a number in here, 1, 2, 3, so I can see the process. Schedule. So I love that. So this should never be out of sight as I scroll to site. Yeah. So your direct call to action should never be out of sight. That's great work. So pricing packages. So you're publishing your pricing. So the basic, standard, and premium. So I know that there's 3 packages, and it includes the session fee. Baby's first year includes everything listed in the premium option. Okay. Okay. And my question, David, would be, there's a lot of detail here and it might put me off a little bit. There might be a bit of complexity. So what you can do is you can say pricing starts from $199 up to our top package of $1,349. Contact us to discuss. Yeah. So I would consider taking this detail off the main page. It's a little bit early for me in the process that if I'm at the consideration stage, I'd prefer to have a conversation with them about pricing, but give a signal to, so for example, we've talked before where you've said to me that there's some clients who only want to spend 20 quid. Yeah. So they're not your client. So by just saying your pricing starts at $199, but a lot of our clients spend more than that and some spend up to $1,349. You're already then using this as a pre-qualifier that anyone who's going to spend less than $199, no, not to even bother call you. Yeah. But rather than giving all the detail at this stage, I prefer to approach that later in my sales process. That would be my advice on that, rather than revealing all that up there. So we have our testimonial. So again, after some video testimonial, beautiful village location, I know where you're, okay, that's important. Contact us. Okay, so hopefully that's helped. So again, the process, just make this a little bit more, stand out a little bit. I love this, you know, just reinforcing this is more about authority and empathy, you know, and giving a solution to the photographer when to do it. Okay, I want to go one more place. So I want to go here. So there's a couple of reasons why I want to go here. So we talked already about your website being your landing page. So it is, and it's also part of a process. So you'll see here, I talked a little bit more. So what's the direct call to action here? If you could talk to me now, you'd be telling me join now, right? Because it stands out here, I know exactly. So do you remember we talked about the Z pattern? So I have the logo, Business Success Academy. That tells me what it is. We don't need to explain it. Join now is a direct call to action. Yeah, we want you to join now. What is the end? Build a thriving business. Learn the marketing, sales, and business skills you need to transform your business into a profitable money-making machine. Again, it's all about the client. What's my indirect call to action? Get our free lead gen strategy blueprint. So in return for that, if I press that button, you're going to have to give us your email address in return for it. My direct call to action is join our membership group now. Yeah. Then we deal with having a great product or service just isn't enough. So here's failure. Yeah. So it's saying that no matter how good a photographer you are or how good your services is, it's really not enough. And guess what? 1/3 of businesses fail in the first 2 years and 50% won't last 5 years. You have to learn the important business skills to make sure you can generate leads, increase your sales, increase profitability, so you can spend more time thriving and less time surviving. So that's speaking to photographers based on the common complaint we get from photographers is that they struggle with the business skills of photography to have a successful business. So feeling overwhelmed. So this is saying it's not necessarily your fault that you might be feeling this way. It's not fair that you feel that way. Because most business owners, they're pursuing their passion. We felt that pain. So this is building empathy. We know what that feels like because we've been there. We know what it's like to try and build a business, but fear not. We've helped hundreds of small. So here's the authority. So we've helped hundreds of businesses to create successful businesses. Again, you see this join now button. So that's following me down the page as I go down the page. Yeah, I would even argue that we should probably have that join now button here as well. It should be in another time because it shouldn't be ever out of sight. Yeah, so we should probably put it here as well. And we should probably put it here as well as being here. Yeah, it's this easy. So what's missing here? So we haven't put in the numbers that I've talked about. Yeah, so this should be step 1 or 1, 2, 3. So the steps are choose a course, learn and implement, successful business owners, imagine the difference. There's that word imagine again. So once I said imagine the difference, I guarantee your brain probably went start visualizing what that might be. We help you quickly and easily implement the marketing, what our clients are saying. So here's our testimonials. And we don't have here is video testimonial. I'd love us to get video testimonial in there. Here's the indirect call to action again. So if you're still not convinced, well, why not download our free lead gen strategy? And that will put you into our remarketing and our retargeting, to nurture you if you're not ready to join now. Avoid failure. So this is talking about the failure. It's important to talk about failure. What is it? It's stress. You're feeling stressed. You're overwhelmed. Bankruptcy, because this is what happens to a lot of businesses. You don't need to be like that. You can roar to success. You can be thriving, confident, profitable in time. And then this is the join now button again. And when I click that join now button, did I press it? No, I didn't. After doing something silly. Just bear with me now. This is important because this is what I want you to consider for your client journey. Come on, computer. Sorry, guys. I pressed something that I don't normally press. Okay. So just to show, so when your direct call to action is, so to join now, you're going to bring them through a process. So we bring them through a process then that explains what the offer is and what the end result is. So do you remember I talked about the end result for your client? So that's what we're trying to do here. Consistently fill your studio with higher paying clients by taking control of your marketing. Yeah. So we absolutely believe as a business that unless you're in control of your marketing, if you're buying leads elsewhere, we know that you will have higher success. And here's really important. We're explaining what you get for your $9.99, that there's a discount today. We're bringing you in at $9.99. What do you get? You get weekly live webinars, access to proven template scripts and funnels, access to an exclusive community, cancel any time, and with these limited time free bonuses. So what those bonuses are. Yeah. We have a video here that explains what the whole thing is about, and we go through in story as to what to expect and what the transformation is and what the problem is and how we solve it. Now we've got the steps in here, and we also explain why. You see that we got this discount. You got to explain the reason why. If you're discounting something, you got to explain why. So this is our way of giving back as a business. So we have this special. It's normally $99. But we're giving a special because we know photographers need help with this to build their leads to bounce out of this recession quicker. So we have the special offer $9.99 to help you do that. And we'll also allow you to lock in the benefits at $49 a month for the lifetime for as long as you stay a member after you join up. Yeah. So model the mentors. So here's the step 2. So we'll give you all the information, the training to help you with that. And we have our mentor team to help you with that. And then we're building some authority here just to show you that. And one of our mentors, Jonathan, he has a separate business, and he's spending $7,000 a week right now selling on Facebook for other businesses. Fill all your diary all around with higher paying clients. So that's the transformation, yeah, that you'll go from not being able to fill your diary with higher paying clients. And not only that, then we back that up with our mentorship. So Bradley Bulmer, who's one of our mentors, they do roughly 40 shoots when they're open a week, sessions a week, and 80% of those he fills with just online marketing. And his average spend from leads he generates himself is far greater than when he buys leads or gets leads from another source. So again, that all links back to this key message here, that, you know, we could not outsource our marketing. If we did, we wouldn't have a business, you know, and the same is for all businesses. So then this is then the empathy and trust and telling you about, it's bringing authority and empathy. Same here, same here. Then we access for just $9.99. You click here, then it goes through a process then of getting you into our membership group and all that. So I just wanted to show you that it's a process that you bring your client through, and that the importance of showing value and whatever your special offer, that it's summarized, that you use some video to explain it, and that it's a process. But this directly linked back to what my direct call to action was, yeah, which was join now. Okay. Susan asks, will this info apply to Instagram too? Absolutely. So the principles, Susan, are the same regardless of the traffic you're using to bring to your landing pages. Yeah. And when I say landing pages, I mean the page, it can be a website page that talks about that genre of photography. So it doesn't matter where the traffic comes from, the selling principles and marketing principles of your online journey for your client is exactly the same. And what happens then over time, Susan, is you actually generate leads from people who download your lead gen magnet that you can retarget. Yeah, that you can retarget with both email marketing and with custom audience retargeting on social media, whether that's on Instagram or on Facebook, to nurture those people through a process to get them to buy your service. Because here's the key thing. I'm selling now for 33 years when I first selling. And the principle of selling hasn't changed. Just some of the tools have changed. So the principle of sales was that 50% of potential clients you interact with, 50% will never buy no matter what you do for them. I.e., if you gave them a red Ferrari for free, they'd want a yellow one. Yeah. So half the leads you generate will never buy no matter what you do. Of the 50% who will buy, only 15% will be ready to buy now, but you have to have a process to convert as many of those as possible now. The other 85% of those leads will not buy for between 90 days and 2 years. So at some stage between 90 days and 2 years, they'll be ready to buy. So in the old days, when it was all direct selling, knocking on doors, the people who sold most were the people who kept in contact with the people who they knew had some sort of interest. And all we're doing with marketing funnels, it's jargon really. It's jargon for having an offer that converts as many as you can within a window of time. And then those who weren't ready to buy at that time, that you have a system to stay in contact with them over a 2-year period. So when they are ready to buy, you're front of mind. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. And it sounds complex, but it's not. It's just the tool has changed. So selling and marketing has moved online. It's moving away from conventional media. Even, a lot of photographers rely on charity events, to generate leads. When are charity events going to be open again in this social distancing world? Probably months, if not years. So we've no choice as businesses to move our marketing online, and the principles of charity marketing can be done online. There's nothing that you can't do online once you follow the right system. Okay, that's me for today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciated you being here. I hope you've got something out of this. If you ever make changes to your website, don't be afraid to join these future ones that we do, because what we can do, if you tell me that I've reviewed your website before, we can do a before and after, because they're really good, because it shows where you were and where you've gone to. So thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate your time this week. Just to let you know, so tomorrow is Wednesday. We've nothing in the think tank tomorrow. However, on Thursday, we have Mary Fisk-Taylor doing an amazing interview. Please follow that. It'll be really, really good, where she talks all things marketing. And then on Friday, I'm interviewing Sean Lee from Rock That Fame, where Sean's story is amazing, where he lost his job, he became a photographer, and today he's a photographer for so many brands like TED Talks Detroit, for multiple cities who've wanted their work. And he tells a story about how being a leader in his community created those opportunities for him. So if you can join us, they're inspirational talks. They're really enjoyable. If you have missed any of the think tank sessions, they're all in the units tab in Photography Think Tank group. And in there, like, there's some wonderful interviews Mary has done with people like Tim Walden, Steve Saporito, so many of them, Audrey Woolard, Alison Tyler Jones. Amazing, amazing information. So do have a look in there. And if you have time, you want to reflect on those, they're really, really, really good content. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you all stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you again hopefully soon. Bye for now.